Oh, welcome back to another episode of On Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we have a very special guest. We have current professional goaltender with the Huntsville Havoc in the Southern Professional Hockey League, Brian Wilson. Brian has been a journeyman in the pro world, going from the Federal Prospects Hockey League to the SPHL to East Coast Hockey League, and even backed up a few games in the American Hockey League. So definitely been all over the place, which I'm super pumped to get him on and talk to him about his journey there. But he also spent 4 years at NCAA Division I, Niagara University. And even before that, he played in the BCHL, the AJHL, the CCHL for his junior hockey career. So I'm very excited to get Brian on the show. So welcome to the show, Brian Wilson.
Hey Jack, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. You've been a guest I've been really wanting to get on the past few years. So I'm glad that we're able to get you on. And shout out to Brett Schaefer from your goaltending coach in Huntsville. So great.
Yeah,
So thank you, Shay, for getting us together.
yeah, that was awesome of him to connect us, and could be wrong, but I think I saw it was his birthday the other day. So a little happy belated birthday to Shafe too.
Happy belated birthday, Shay. We'll definitely get that on there. But to start things off, like how have you been? Like I know we were just talking, like it's been slow for you. So what's been a day in the life of Brian Wilson recently?
Yeah, I mean, since the end of the season here, it's kind of just like you said, it's a little bit slow right off the hop. Kind of as the summer gets going, I get back on the ice and ramp that up, and I goalie coach in the summers as well, but yeah, it's not really camp season or anything yet, so that's pretty slow. So yeah, lately it's been pretty relaxed days. Not too much going on, just getting outside as much as I can, and been a little bit sick here the last few days, so a little bit of
Oh,
recovering from that. But yeah, other than that, not a whole heck of a lot the last couple of weeks or so.
good to get some relaxing time in and enjoy your time off from the ice and the gym, because that's what we're on the ice doing every day, is in the gym on the ice, and it definitely takes a toll. So just be able to recover, like it's the best part of the off season.
Yeah, I think it's really important. And I've kind of learned as I've gotten older and more
Yeah,
experienced, just how important it is to take your time off the ice especially, right? You take a little bit of
yeah,
time off the gym, but that you can kind of keep going a bit more year round. But taking your time off the ice, just obviously being a goalie, you have the fact that it's a lot of wear and tear on
yeah,
your body, but it's a lot of wear and tear on your mind too. So I think just kind of helps keep mentally fresh going into the season, and yeah, obviously keeping yourself physically fresh as well. So yeah, I think the older I've gotten, the more important I've found it to be to just make sure I'm taking some time off the ice.
yeah. I agree with that. And like last year, I took like 2 weeks off, and I was right back on. And but like this year, like I took like a month. I just started skating today actually, and took a whole month off, and like just recover the body. And like if my body feels way better than it did at the end of the year last year.
Yeah, yeah, no, you kind of yeah, you're coming out with a clear mind and stuff too. It's like
Yeah,
you kind of remember, it's not like I'm taking 6 months off the ice or something. Like you said, it's a month or month and a half, 2 months, something like
yeah,
that off the ice where like you jump on, you feel rusty, but it's like recent enough. You still remember all the kind of like I'll still remember the things I was working on at the end of the season
yeah,
last year and kind of like, all right, where kind of know where I want to get to and kind of what I want to pick up working on right away. So you kind of have like just a fresh reset on kind of your mind and where you want to
yeah,
be, but and your body's also just kind of a little bit more ready to go. So yeah,
yeah, exactly. And it's your body thanks you after you take that break and go back on the ice. It definitely thanks you.
it does for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But I want to jump into like this season a little bit here. You were with Huntsville for the whole season, and then you were also got a stint up with the Newfoundland Growlers in the ECHL. So like what was this year like for you, and just like as a team wise and individually as well?
Yeah, this year was a ton of fun. I think it was probably some of the most fun I've had playing hockey. Especially in the professional ranks. Yeah, it was like Huntsville. I signed there late in the summer last year. Wasn't guaranteed anything. It was just kind of come to camp, you'll have, nothing set in stone. You'll have a chance to earn a spot and kind of go from there. Um, so I was lucky enough to put together a good enough camp to earn a spot. And boy, I think I was really fortunate to end up in the spot that I did. I think people are pretty aware of it around the league that
Yeah,
Huntsville is it's kind of a destination spot within the SPHL. Just the support from the organization there, as well as the fan support, everything around the community. It's all amazing, and I think probably the thing that makes it the best is just how committed like the staff is there to picking a team of we have good players, we have skilled players, but it's there's a lot of importance put on like having good people
yeah,
on the team. So just makes it really easy when everyone around you is just a good human being, right? So um, coming in as a new guy, it was really easy for me to just jump in and kind of fit in the locker room.
yeah,
You know, there's obviously like on any team, you're going to have different guys with different personalities and different interests and stuff. And sometimes that can make it a little bit clicky, right? Where
yeah,
it's just kind of small groups, guys hanging out with each other all the time, and maybe create some rift in the locker room and prevent the teammate from getting super close with each other. But I think like the leadership of Huntsville there was, from the coaches to the leaders on the team as well, are just they were really good at making everybody feel welcome and included, and like they're a big part of what was going on there. And I think that's huge for having a successful team. And then obviously, yeah, you mentioned the stint in Newfoundland. Um, Another really positive experience. Super super fun time playing there, even though it was short lived. That honestly, like if I like once I started playing pro, if I had chosen handpicked a spot I would have liked to play in the ECHL, it would have been Newfoundland for a couple different reasons. Like I'm a Toronto guy, so
yeah,
growing up, I was a Leaf fan, still am, and obviously Newfoundland is, or I now was affiliated with the Leafs, and so that's a cool aspect of it. But also just like I've been to Newfoundland a couple times in my life, and it's just like a spectacular spot. It's just a really really cool place to live. So it was almost like getting a vacation out there. Just because of, I mean, right, you're on the ocean, right? Like the
yeah.
city St. John's, it's in a little harbor there. So really cool. Like after practice there and stuff, it was just I wanted to kind of get outside and walk around, and just everything's pretty walkable there, so you can just kind of walk around and explore. There's lots of history there, so
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and like the organization again was like a first class organization for as far as coast teams go. We were treated really really well. Similar story to Huntsville. Like I was only there for a couple of weeks, but felt like the guys really were open and accepted me in, and were pretty easy to get along with. So I had a really positive experience there as well, even though it was, like I said, a little bit short lived.
Yeah, so like you get that experience and everything. Like you called up to the coast before with Worcester, I believe, and like you actually got to play games with Newfoundland. So like what are some of the biggest things you learned going from Huntsville and the SB to making that jump to the coast and having some success in games as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think every time you move up a level, there's a little bit of an adjustment with the speed and the crispness.
Yeah,
So I think it was um, a little bit faster and a little bit crisper, but nothing I haven't seen before necessarily. Like the way I kind of look at it to not be intimidated or anything is just like a lot of those guys are peers that I would have been playing with or against, in the NCAA.
yeah,
So it's kind of just like another day, and like at the end of the day, like um, really like I just focus on my job is the exact same whether I'm playing in the Federal League, the SP Coast, if I'm in the show, whatever.
yeah,
My job's the same. It's stop the puck. So
yeah.
I find like just getting focused on anything outside of that, and letting any outside factors kind of start to creep into my mind is pointless. It's not always easy to keep them out, but I think when I can keep those things out of my mind, it's just going to be the recipes for success for me. So I think that's all I try to do going up there was focus on my job, stop the puck, whenever I was put out there, and everything else just take care of itself.
Yeah, that's awesome that you're able to like put it all together like that. Because like at the end of the day, our job is just to stop the puck. Like it's an easy job title. It's easy job description. It's not just stop the puck, but then if you put everything into it, like obviously it's one of the harder positions in sports. But like I always mess around with people like, yeah, my job's pretty easy. I just gotta stop the puck, and that
Yeah,
seems like to be what your mindset is as well.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's and like you said, it's simple job, not an easy job, but it's a simple
Yeah.
job. Yeah, just stand in front of that little black rubber disc.
Yeah, exactly. It's all it is. But
Yeah,
then last season in 22-23, you had a big year in Danbury with the Hat-Tricks in the Federal Prospects Hockey League, where you played 41 games, and then you guys go on to win the championship in the Fed. So like what was that whole experience like, and just getting to win the championship, like everything between the end of the season to the beginning of the season with the championship, like just explain everything about that season.
yeah, that was a really cool year. Obviously, just to be able to win a championship anywhere is
Yeah.
pretty special. Like I've been I'm 27, turning 28 this fall, and been on skates since I was 3 years old. I think that's the first league championship I've ever won. So, but just kind of goes to show you like how hard it is and how few
Yeah.
and far between those opportunities are. So um, that was really exciting. And again, I think it was similar to kind of what I talked about with Huntsville there. In terms of just like I don't think it would have been possible if we didn't kind of have the team chemistry that we did. Um, I just think the guys in the room, everybody got along pretty well. Um, guys were hanging out a lot outside the rink and stuff. Um, like there weren't any team cancers in the room. There weren't guys that didn't get along and stuff. So I think ultimately that was a huge part of it, and it just makes it way more enjoyable. And guys are way more motivated to come to the
Yeah.
rink every day and put their best foot forward because you're actually enjoying being there. You know what I mean? And um, and if some of those factors aren't on, it feels like a little bit more of a grind going to the rink every day and doing your work and stuff. So yeah, that was a big part of it. And yeah, like I said, there was so many positives out of last year. It was a lot of fun. I'll have great memories of that season forever.
Yeah, so like you're just, and like that's like when you're going to the rink and just having fun with everything. Like that's when you play your best. That's when you have the most fun, and that's when like the team starts winning games. Is when you're all having fun. And, like there's no like real stress or anything. So like especially as a goalie, if you're just out there having fun, not thinking about anything or overthinking, like those are when you have your best performances, and then it leads on to the players, and then like everyone in the rink, everyone in the room, like even the fans feel it, I'm sure. So it's just cool to see like that whole thing. Like that's what really brings home a championship.
100%, yeah. And I mean, obviously, you have to have good hockey players as well,
Yeah.
but I think there's enough good hockey players out there that, you can find a good hockey player that's a
Yeah.
good person over, and be able to ship out a person that's maybe just as good or maybe a little bit better of a hockey player, but they're not going to fit in kind of with the culture you want to build. So no, I think again, like last couple of years, I've been really fortunate to be on teams where we've kind of had that aspect of it dialed in.
Yeah, you just gotta build around that, and like that's what you hear all the time in pro is just be a good person, because it's gonna take you far away if you're a good person and a good person in the room. Like people are gonna want you to come back if like something happens, or you're gonna get a lot more opportunities because you're a good person, not someone who's gonna be like be like terrible to play with or terrible to live with, just stuff like that.
100%. Yeah, it's a lot of it too is just like when you kind of see it. I think when things don't go someone's way,
Yeah,
like when you're rolling, it's easy to be Mr. Positive
yeah,
around the rink or whatever, and when things aren't going well, like so, you're not producing or not getting playing time that you want or think you deserve or whatever. I think the way you handle those situations are really important. For like you said, people want you to stick around in places, and I think just dealing with those situations in a positive state of mind,
yeah,
and reacting positively to them, um, kind of helps your own performance when you do get back rolling or the chance to get some more ice time or whatever it is. I think handling those situations positively is it just helps lead to more positive results down the line, which I've kind of learned throughout my experience as well. I feel like I've had situations in my career where um, I didn't get ice time or stopped getting ice time, um, and I was kind of pissy about it or
yeah.
whatever, was negative, and um, it makes it a lot harder to get out of it. And then when you get your chance, like I found when I would get my chance like that, I'm like, you know, it wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't feel as confident about it going well, and often it wouldn't go as well just because I would, you without realizing it, you're putting a lot of energy into just like this negative emotion,
Yeah.
and I think as the last few years and stuff, um, I think I've kind of realized, those situations like they happen to everybody. Like
Yeah.
you know, you're not gonna get a shutout every night. You might go through some rough patches where another, every like you get to the pro level, like you're always gonna have a goalie partner that's
Yeah.
also really good. So, it's you assume they're playing, you might not be playing well at a point where they're playing really well and they're getting a lot of playing time, and like that's kind of just is what it is. You gotta be, you can't just let it affect you in a negative way. You can't control that. Like, um, playing time and stuff. Like it's not something that you control. So I think it's really important to handle those kind of situations positively.
Yeah, you just got to control what you can control, because obviously there's going to be stuff like you said, playing time and all that, where situations aren't ideal, but you guys just got to focus on like what you bring to the table, like your mentality, your attitude, how hard you're working at practice. Like those are all things that you can control, like being a good teammate, stuff like that, being supportive to your goalie partner when he's on a roll, because at the end of the day, like you want to have like a good relationship with your goalie partner as well. Whereas like if you're going through a good stretch, like you want him to be on your team, and then and then when he's having a good stretch, like he wants you to have his back and beyond him as well. So like it just creates like a positive, good good competition, healthy competition for each other, and you get better because of it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. No. No. I think you're spot on there. Um, yeah. I don't have much else to add to that, but yeah, definitely. But just yeah, it makes it easier
Yeah.
to perform like individually and as a tandem. When you guys are focused on your own thing, and like actually, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about like your job is just like your job is just stop the puck, whether you're playing 3 times a week or
Yeah.
you're getting in the net once every 3 weeks. Like it doesn't really change anything for you. Your job is just stop the puck whenever called upon. So you might as
Yeah.
well just be ready to go, and whatever happens in between,
Yeah.
it's not really in your control. So
Same
I don't know.
objective no matter what.
Yeah, so I've found that's just been the best way to look at it. Just over the course of my career, being on both sides of it.
Yeah, that's huge to learn from that. And like I want to jump into like your American League days, that you're when you're backing up. Like obviously like everyone wants to be NHL, AHL, but like you're just under you get called to a team just under the NHL and the AHL, and you were with Springfield, and then you also backed up with Belleville as well. So like what were those two experiences like, and just having like the NHL logo on your shoulder patch, and just get live the AHL life for a day, for a couple of days.
Yeah, that was really cool. The first stint there with Springfield, I mean, I kind of, as negative of a thing as COVID was and has been or whatever, I kind of have COVID to thank for that one. They had a guy get stuck across the border, I think after Christmas break. So all of a sudden Springfield's short a goalie. And I happen to know I've worked with their goalie coach there for a while, from back when that's Dan Stewart, back when he was with Coburg in the OJ. So I've had a relationship with him for a while. Danbury, is I was with Danbury at the time. They're an hour and 20 minutes away from Springfield.
Yeah.
So, just reached out one day. He's like, "Hey, you think you come back up a game for us?" I was like, "Sure." Um, hard to turn that down. So,
Yeah.
um, went to they were playing in Bridgeport, so I went to Bridgeport, which is even closer to Danbury. It's like 45 minutes. So drove down there, backed up for the night. It was a little complicated with again, we were kind of in the thick of COVID, so I had to get a bunch
Yeah.
of bunch of tests
Tests and
done
all
in
that.
a
Yeah.
in a short amount of time just to be eligible to go there and back up. But made it work, and then kind of went back to Danbury like that was it. And the GM called me the next day and said, "Hey, look, like it looks like our guy's not gonna be able to make it across the border for like another week or so. Like, would you be able to come back up and stick with us for a few days here and back up a couple more games?"
Yeah. Why not?
Absolutely. So yeah, I got to spend about a week there. Um, yeah, backed up another game and backed up game in Springfield and then one in Providence. Like I said, never got the chance to get in a game there, but
Yeah, you're that much closer though.
yeah, yeah. So no, that was a really cool experience. They that organization treated me really well, even just as a guy that was was pretty known. Like I was just coming in temporarily for the time being, and they were very, very accommodated for me. Treated very, very well there. I think it seems to me like a really good organization. So nothing but good things to say about them as well. It was pretty interesting as well with like you show up and you got like I think like James Neal was on the team or something. Like I got like a
Like
40 goal
Washington guy in the
NHL.
NHL.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny like going in and you got guys like that there.
Yeah.
And then the Belleville one, that might actually that might actually be a funnier story. So we had practice in the morning with Danbury, and the night before, I had been talking to one of my teammates, and he was like, "Dude, we should go to a Bridgeport Islanders game. You think you can like order us some tickets and like whatever?" So I asked around. We had about six guys that were interested in going. So got some tickets. I had a connection with someone in the Bridgeport organization who was just like in the ticket office or whatever. So
Yeah.
got some. I think I got a six tickets. Um, so then we go to practice in the morning and um, I check my phone after practice or whatever, and I had a text from the goalie coach in Belleville, Justin Peters, and he says, "Hey, we we lost a goalie in morning skate this morning. Like, any chance you'd be able to come back up for us tonight in Bridgeport?" I was like, "Yeah, I could probably do that." So that it was really funny because I already had tickets. Like, I literally had a ticket to go to the
Yeah.
game. I was like, "Well, I guess I'll be participating now." Uh, it's instead of paying for a ticket in lower bowl, I am getting paid to sit, by the glass. So, no, that was pretty cool. Again, they were really welcoming there, and again, a positive experience. Again, just you're kind of see those for what they were at the time. Like, it just
Yeah.
like you kind of realize in the moment you know you're lucky, you're fortunate to have an experience like that. Like a lot of people, don't get the opportunity to get those calls. So just kind of enjoying the experience and enjoying the moment. And yeah, I mean, it would obviously, you always want to get into a game and show what you can do, but that opportunity didn't present itself in any of those AHL situations. But still, just enjoyable experiences that you kind of just got to stay in the moment and appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, because I think I remember it was on Frankie's story, and like I think he was at that game too, that you guys were
Yeah,
going to, and he was just going crazy through on his Instagram story about it, and like I remember that one, and like that's funny how like you guys were all gonna go to the game, and then you're
yeah.
backing up that same game. Like, what are the chances? Like that's crazy.
It was funny, and I think a bunch more guys ended up getting tickets to go down, and I think we had almost the whole team there from Danbury, just kind of when they found out. So again, that was really cool to have their support there, and it kind of shows you what kind of team we had, where it was like guys were just like really excited for each other,
Yeah.
and everybody was friends, and everybody got along, and everyone wanted to support each other. So that was super cool that all the guys showed up for that, and um, I think when we were getting off the ice, they had a chant going for me at the end of the game. So yeah, that was pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, yeah. You've played and been in the 9-letter league. You played in the Fed, the SV, the Coast, and you even got a stint in the American League for a little bit. So like throughout, so like obviously you played in 4 of the 5 different levels so far. So like what have you learned from going from like the Fed to all the way up to the American League?
I think I've learned that things just things change all the time in pro
Yeah,
hockey. Um, there's so much that's out of your control. So there's really the more you can avoid worrying about the things that are out of your control, the better off you'll be.
yeah,
Right? Like it's hard dealing with certain situations. Like my first year, I was moving around so much. I was on like 7 different teams. I think I was doing the math on it at the end of the season. I passed through. I either stay played in or passed through 25 out of the 50 states that season. So like it's kind of just you're always on the move, which is like fun to an extent. You're getting all these
yeah,
new experiences, and some of your moves are exciting and some are not exciting, depending if it's up or down or wherever. But like you kind of just gotta take the emotion out of it. And like I'm gonna say this for like the third time, but it's you just gotta remember like wherever you are, just stop the puck and when you're at the rink, stop the puck. And outside of that, just find a way to have fun and enjoy your life wherever you're at. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing I've taken is just that things change, and it's not always based on your own performance.
yeah,
Especially like my first year, there were times where I felt like I didn't get opportunities. I was in a certain place where I thought I was going to get a certain opportunity, didn't get the opportunities I thought I would get, and feel like I get sent down on a something that in a situation where I didn't necessarily feel it was justified.
yeah,
And then you know um you maybe are playing well for a while and you're like, okay, well, I feel like I should be getting called up now, and you don't get called up. And then like there's stretches where you're like, oh, okay, like something's off right now, and then you do get a call up, and it's just kind of like it's not based on, you kind of just got to try and be ready at all times and just be at
yeah,
your best all times, because the call ups aren't necessarily based on what you're doing. It's what the situation is on another team. It's not so much that teams are looking, they're like, oh, this guy's doing really well, we'll call him up. It's like, no, we lost a goalie to injury or call up or whatever that is, so now we need a guy and
yeah.
we're going to grab a guy. And that has nothing to do with you playing well or whatever at the time necessarily. Like it's more about the other team's needs or whatever. So I think it's just figuring that out, to not you play some good games or whatever, like don't be sitting there like, oh, I'm gonna get a call up soon or
Yeah.
whatever. It's not really in your hands. Just all you can do is just go out and play your best. And those kind of things, they may happen, they may not. And you just kind of got to live with that. It's not in your control.
Yeah, just be in the moment, and whatever happens in the moment happens. Like control what you can control and just go out there and enjoy it. Because like when you are having fun and enjoying it, like I feel like that's like when obviously you're playing good, but like obviously things could happen if guys people know that you're having fun and like you're not like getting down on yourself or anything like that. And like that's where call-ups could happen as well. And like you just gotta stay ready wherever you are.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Just always being your best, and just putting your best foot forward, and just focus on stop the puck wherever you're at.
Exactly. Yeah, so you've had quite the journey in pro so far, but I want to really get into your college days a little bit here. So you spent 4 years at NCAA Division I, Niagara University, and like I've heard nothing but good things about Niagara over there and like how good of an organization it is and everything, how it's ran. So like what was the process and like the commitment process like to really commit to Niagara University?
Yeah, so that was a really cool part of my career. Pretty big thing for me to make it to a Division I program. That was obviously really exciting. I wasn't I wasn't like the most highly touted kid growing up. I was a bit of a late bloomer. So like just for perspective, like I only played 2 years of AAA my whole minor hockey career, and one of those years was minor Pee Wee. It was when I was 11, so it's kind of irrelevant when it comes to the college recruiting process, obviously. So like my only other year AAA was my last year midget. Um, like obviously being from the Toronto area. Major junior in the OHL is a big thing here. So like, the time of my OHL draft year, I was playing single A hockey. So I'm two levels down from the top, off everybody's radar, and rightfully so. You know, I didn't think I was going anywhere with hockey at that point, and I don't think anyone else did. I was fortunate enough to meet a really good goalie coach that year, Michael Lawrence with pro goaltending. Um, Still work with him to this day, and I'm an instructor now there too as well. And he just kind of started honing in the technical parts of my game a lot more than I ever had before. And I kind of discovered that that was an aspect of goaltending that I was really interested in, and just focusing in on technical aspects of things rather than just go out, do drills, get tired,
Yeah.
whatever. It's kind of like, oh, like you know this is 14-year-old, 15-year-old me, whatever, wasn't interested in just going out and getting tired and trying to stop the puck and no rhyme or reason or whatever. So kind of having like putting a system in place with him just made it a lot more interesting for me, and I kind of like reinvigorated my interest and my love for the game. And I kind of realized I was picking up on these things pretty quickly. So I was obviously pretty late, like minor midget or U16, whatever. That's only you know you only got 2 more years after that
Yeah.
before minor hockey's done. So it was kind of like, yeah, if I want to do something, I'm gonna have to do something quick with it. Um, Ended up making the jump to double A my first year midget, had a really good year. My last year midget ended up making the jump to triple A, then kind of junior A, and so basically more of the story, it was very exciting to kind of work my way up that quickly and be able to get some Division I, and Niagara ended up being a great spot for me. I got a chance to play a ton as coming in as a freshman. And it wasn't I don't think anything was given necessarily. It was kind of a situation I knew going in with a new coaching staff, brand new head coach, assistant coaches, everything. When I got there, it was going to be kind of nothing's getting given to you, but you
Yeah.
can earn it. There was a couple of junior goalies there, going into their third year, and I was coming in as a freshman, and the coaches were just kind of, it was a clean slate for them. It was just kind of whoever earns it. So I think I was lucky enough to put together some pretty good performances early on in my time there, and build up some trust with the coaches and the guys, and earned my way into some pretty cool opportunities of getting a lot of play time there my first couple years.
Yeah, and like that's something like you don't see, especially as a freshman, where you're going in playing 38 games or 31 games right off the bat. And like so like it's a great experience for you and a great opportunity for you to prove that you belong there and that even though like you played single A and then you worked your way up slowly, right? Because you were a late bloomer, like you developed quickly and developed right into like that D1 goalie. So like what was that transition going from junior hockey in your last year in the BCHL and then making that transition to NCAA Division One and really getting going and getting a lot of games from the start?
Yeah, it was interesting because so our first game of the season with Niagara, um, we were playing at Colgate, and I think we were the first Division One game like in all of NCAA
Yeah.
for that season. Like it was like late September, which there's hardly ever any games in late September. We just had a really early game scheduled, and I ended up getting the start for that. So I kind of wasn't really necessarily expecting that as a freshman coming in, and
Yeah.
I guess I had a good enough camp
Earn
kind
that
of
spot.
between, yeah, but between when we got there, when we got on campus in August or whatever to when things started in late September. I guess I did enough in that time to be able to earn that start, but it was kind of it was a bit of a nervous situation for me because
Yeah.
I coming out of junior, I'm a Canadian kid. I had never even seen an NCAA game before. Like I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how crazy of a jump it was going to be, and that kind of thing. So really didn't have a very good first game. I think we lost like 5-1 or something like that. It was. I was shaky. I gave up a goal on my first career shot,
Oh,
um, which
that's a
is
tough start.
that's tough. It was a 2-on-1. We actually played really really well. We didn't get pushed off like the first 11 minutes or something, which is kind of a rest. I'm sitting back there. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, I just want to get a shot to like get
Yeah.
in the
I
game,
just want to feel the puck.
and then the way that it goes, there's just kind of a lot like they got to flip out of the zone that kind of got lost up you know in the
Yeah.
rafters, or D-man didn't track it or something, and they ended up coming down at a 2-on-1, and that's my first shot in college hockey, and it goes in and whatever. So it was kind of like, all right, well, this is a tough start, but I do remember thinking after the game, it's like, you know what, like I didn't have a great game. I was nervous, definitely, um, but like I even noticed. I remember during the game, I was sitting there like there's a face off going on in my own zone. I'm like, this really isn't different from it's not that much different from playing the BCHL.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit, a little bit faster, like I was talking about before, a little bit faster, a little bit more crisp, but the same guys, they're just wearing different jerseys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
The same game.
there's nothing, yeah, like I don't need to be intimidated, and um after that game I didn't play for a few games in a row. They gave one of the junior guys there, one of the guys in his junior year, they gave him a bit of a runway, and then got a chance to go in relief and in a game at we were playing at Sacred Heart. We got down 2-0 within the first like minute or two of the game, and so I jumped in the game really early, and we ended up coming back and winning 3-2, and I was more. I was just getting in that second time after I had been in and I'd seen what to
Yeah.
expect. Um, it was a lot easier. It was like, okay, like
I
I
can do
you know
this.
I didn't have a great game, but like I kind of like just being in it. It's like, okay, it's not that it's not bad. Like I can hang
Yeah.
here, and yeah. So I mean, I kind of from there I just kind of rolled, and I think I started like 26 consecutive games my
Oh,
freshman year,
wow.
which is didn't really think about it at the time, but kind of a I don't think I'll ever come close to starting that many games in a row ever in my career. It's obviously kind of doable in college hockey because you're getting the
Yeah.
week off in between games, right? But yeah, that was you don't really realize it at the time, but that was pretty cool opportunity to just get that much of runway. And I definitely think it was a really good start to my college career.
Yeah, and like that, it's always good like going in situations like that, especially like your second game when you had to go in relief and because you already saw that first game and like the nerves hit you and everything, and then the second game you're like it's the same old game that I've been playing since I was a little kid, like just it's just faster and a little more crisper, like you've been saying. So it's just like a huge learning curve there, and just to learn from like those experiences to be like, oh, it's just another game. Like all I gotta do is like we've been saying this entire episode, just stop the puck. Like
Yeah,
simple as that.
yeah, 100%. It was it's one of those things. Yeah, you just kind of you realize you get acclimated,
Yeah,
and you know at this point in my career, it's just everything is you don't necessarily realize it at the time that it's happening, but everything's
yeah,
kind of a learning experience. So I maybe didn't know as much then as I knew
yeah,
now, and didn't have as much experience to draw on. But I think every kind of experience like that that builds up just helps you be prepared for the next experience that might have some similarities to a past experience.
yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. But like that second year, you played 34 games, and this is like your career year. You went 15, 14, and 5. And so like what was that you're finally adjusted to everything, like you had your freshman year, you go on your sophomore year, like what was that season like and just having like the career year that you did?
Yeah, that season was really good. We had a good team that year. I think we ended up finishing pretty mediocre in the standings, like kind of mid pack, but we ended up going on a run to the conference championship game, and that was a really cool experience. That was probably one of my most fond memories of hockey up until kind of winning that championship last year with Danbury. Is just like I said, I had never won a league title, and
Yeah.
that second year at Niagara, we were one goal away. We lost in overtime in the championship
Oh,
game there on yeah, a bit of a controversial goal. So it was a stinger. Um, I still kind of had some nightmares about that one. Just would have really liked to get a ring on my finger from that run. But that was an awesome year. I wouldn't say it had its ups and downs.
yeah,
By no means was I lights out through the entire year. There's points in every season where you're kind of fighting to find it.
yeah,
And I think, I had a point there in the middle of that season, fighting to find it a little bit, but got it back and was at the top of my game, I think, heading into playoffs, and really had a really good playoff run. And like I said, it was a disappointing end, but you know, just to be able to get ourselves in that spot, I think was really, that was cool. I have a lot of really good memories of that season as well.
yeah. It's like what do you do to get out of that slump that you had? And like I know we talked about staying positive and just really diving in like the positive outlook of things and just stopping the puck, but like what really went into that slump and then how did you get out of it?
Yeah, um, for me, like it's just kind of keeping it simple and having
Yeah,
a game plan, and not just kind of winging the mental game. So my last year junior, or I guess the summer heading into my last year junior, I started working with a sports psychologist, um, and I still use all this stuff up to this day. So I have a book of notes that I go over. I go over them before every game and between every period, just keep them fresh.
Yeah.
And it's really the main message of everything in there is just control what I can control and not stress about other things. And like hockey is a game of results,
Yeah.
obviously. Everybody, you know, you got to get results if you want to have success and move to the next level and stick around places, whatever.
Yeah.
But um, to get too focused on a result, um, that's kind of you're getting into things that you can't control, right? You might have a
Yeah.
game where, um, you know, you feel like you put together a really good game and you felt really good about where things were at, and you lose like 5-0 or something, and like your result sucks. And sometimes just things you can't control, like you might give up, 5 goals and two of them bounce off a D man or something.
Yeah.
Another one's just like an open, like it's things that you can't necessarily control with the results. On the flip side of that, maybe you have a game where you feel like, oh man, I really don't have it tonight, or I'm like shaky, and you only give up one or something, or your team plays really well defensively in front of you, or whatever it might be. So I think it's just about not getting too focused on results, and kind of getting over that, getting over any kind of like fear of failure.
Yeah.
Because the result is going to be what it's going to be. Like I said, there's no point being afraid of a bad result, because you just go out there and do what you can do. Like you're still not controlling the result. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So just kind of being able to let go of that. Um, I think actually Hellebuck was talking about it in his press conference after their playoff series this year against the Avalanche. Just about he was talking about, he felt like he was at the top of his game, and he gave up like 5 goals every game, and that sucks. And
Yeah.
like you obviously don't want to be in that situation where your results are looking like that, but um, at the end of the day, like, I mean, if you have a good process and in what you're doing, it, the process to get those results, then you just kind of got to let the results take care of themselves. So I think for me, getting out of it is just kind of making sure I'm not getting too caught up in I'm losing a bunch of games, or my save percentage is sucking, or whatever. Like, just is what it is. Do what I know, do what I know works.
Yeah.
Go over video, make sure there's maybe certain things you can see or that I can just feel on the ice that are maybe slipping technically. But other than that, just not get caught up in a result.
Yeah. And like that goes hand in hand with like just when you're not really when you're thinking about like all like I gotta do this, I do this, and like you can't control it. Like your mind gets filled with all that, all the like thinking and everything that you're doing. But like if you think about like, oh, I can't, like, just control what I can control, like that's when like you play like freely in your mind, and like you can have that like that's when you have the most success, is when you're not thinking, like we've been saying, and you're just going out there like not thinking, just trusting the process, trusting what you're doing, trusting the training that you've been doing, trusting what you've been doing at practice has been up to par, like stuff like that. And like it'll definitely help your game and like help you get out of a slump as well.
100%. Yeah, you put in the work during the week or whatever, and come game time, just go out there and do it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it'll be what it'll be.
Yeah, exactly. Control you can't control, because that's the only thing you can.
Exactly. Yeah, you're bringing extra stress into your life
Yeah.
if you're starting to worry about things that are out of your control.
Yeah, exactly. But then you get your final 2 years at Niagara University after your sophomore year. So like, what were those 2 years like for you? Like you played 16 games your junior year, and then you played three your senior year. So like, what were those last 2 years like for you?
Yeah, my junior year, I actually probably had the best start that I've ever had to a season. At least when I was there. Had a real, I was playing really really well, um, putting up consistently good games, and was fortunate enough, I think, to get nominated for the Hobie Baker that year, which was
There we
kind of
go.
cool. So into January, I was pretty lights out, and then I think I might have got caught up a little bit with just some result stuff, and same thing as you got to let negative results go. You also got to be able
Yeah,
to let positive results go. Like you don't want to get too high or too low. And I think I was kind of riding the high a little bit. Um, had a couple games where I wasn't horrible, but I was just kind of performance is slipping a little bit. We lost a couple games, and in the third period or whatever. I not weren't necessarily my fault or anything, but
yeah,
maybe probably could have been a little bit better. And we had brought in a really really good freshman goalie that year. So then I kind of had a couple hiccups, and he got his chance to get in there, and kind of similar to what I did when I started at Niagara. Like he got in there and really good goalie. He started playing well and he ran with it. Um, so I didn't really get much of a chance to get back in there as a result of that. And like I was talking about earlier, I think that was one of my learning experiences for just like how to deal with a situation like that where you kind of
yeah,
lose playing time, whatever. Because I don't think I necessarily handled that the best that I could have that year. I think I kind of felt like I had maybe deserved more of a leash, more of a runway. Um, but then not like looking back on it now, like it just I think I could have handled it a bit more of a positive manner, and that's why I think experiences like that I draw on nowadays to realize like these things happen. You know what I mean? Like that ended up, at the time I thought it was a negative thing, whatever, and I think it ended up being a positive thing overall, because it's something that I can learn from. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
it's something that I feel like I have learned from, and hopefully we'll continue to learn from, and learn how to just handle any situation that comes at me better. Like it was great for my goalie partner. Like he was lights out the rest of that year, and that year I was yeah we were poised to maybe go on another playoff run that year, but that was the year that COVID cut everything short in the playoffs. So we were at Army West Point waiting to play our first round game, and everything got shut down. So that kind of sucked, and then that bled into my senior year there, where you mentioned I only played 3 games that year. I set a team record. Unfortunately, it wasn't a great team record to set. I had the most days spent in quarantine out of anyone on the entire team. So,
How many
um,
days was that?
so game one, from what was supposed to be game one, which was I think it was like October 21st to the end of the regular season, which was like March. I spent I think 70 or 72 days in quarantine.
Fuck.
Um, and it was actually I never got COVID, so like everyone else on the team at some point got COVID, including coaching staff, equipment manager, or everybody. So I think I counted it up. We had 40 guys in the organization, and it was me and one other guy never got it.
Wow.
So every time, every time someone would get it, we would have to go on a quarantine because we were close contact and we had
Yeah.
never had it. But the guys that had it, they didn't have to do quarantines for like 3 months or something after they had it. So like they were kind of out of the woods in terms of the
Yeah.
quarantining thing. So that's why I had to spend more time in quarantine than anybody else because I don't know. I guess my immune system was too good or something. But
Something like that. No big deal.
yeah, no, I know. But yeah, it ended up kind of sucking for me, obviously.
Yeah.
But and it felt like just any time I would get out of quarantine, I'd go to the rink and I'd be at practice for 3 days, and then I'd have to go back into quarantine for 2 weeks, and that was I found that was like really hard on my body and stuff too,
Yeah.
and just like because you're not doing anything for a couple of weeks, and they told us not to work out at home or anything just because of like they it was really early on. Obviously, nobody kind of knew the side effects on
Yeah.
like the on your heart and stuff. So if you had it and didn't know, and then it was you had something an issue with your heart or whatever, they
Yeah.
didn't want you
Risk it.
to take any risks with that. So yeah, it was a pretty tough year with that, and mentally too. Like I just came out of that year. It was almost like taking a year off of hockey. Like I felt
Yeah.
like I was hardly on the ice. When I was on the ice, it was like I forgot how to play goalie almost. So that was definitely a hard year to deal with, and I feel like took away some momentum from the past 3 years that I built up there, and that was certainly a tough way to spend senior year.
Yeah.
It was pretty unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is, and I overall my 4 years there was a positive experience. Just too bad about the ending.
Yeah, that's all that matters. That was a good experience at the end of the day, and even though like it had bumps in the road, like it did with the pandemic and everything, like at least you enjoyed your 4 years there, and that's all that really matters. And then you got to go play pro right after that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, but I want to jump in your junior career a little bit here. So you played junior A throughout your entire junior career in the CCHL, the AJHL, and then you made the jump to the BCHL your last year. So like, what take us through your junior hockey career and how it all unfolded?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I was a late bloomer, so I mean, just even making it to junior A was pretty
Yeah,
cool and pretty unexpected for me. So coming out of my last year of mid AAA, I was going all these junior A camps, trying out and stuff, and I think I went to like maybe 6 rookie camps or something. I think I ended up getting 2 or 3 main camps, and the very last one that I had was Canada and the CC. It was kind of my last chance at it, and had a really good camp. I think really separated myself from the pack at the camp there, and made the team. And again, that was a situation we weren't a very good team. I think we finished last in the league. I think we had like 10 wins in 62 games or something that season. So we weren't great. But we had a great goalie coach there, Paul Schoenfelder. He's in the Carolina organization now, so he's obviously he's moving on his career
yeah,
rightfully so. He's very good, and I was able to develop under him, and since we weren't like a championship team or anything like that, I think they were a little bit more willing to have a younger goalie, a rookie goalie, play a little bit more. So I ended up getting a pretty good opportunity to play a lot of games my rookie year, which really helped me develop. I think because that jump from midget to from minor hockey to junior A is I feel like probably one of the biggest jumps.
Yeah.
because you've been playing against guys strictly your own age basically your whole life, and then you go up and you're playing against 20-year-olds and all that, and it's definitely a big jump. So yeah, I thought that was a good opportunity for me. Like I said, even though we didn't have a lot of team success,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, and good for my development, I think. And then early on in the next season, um, you know, things were changed a little bit, and I think change of scenery was going to be best for me. So we ended up getting a trade worked out to where I went to the Okotoks Oilers in the ECHL there, and that was a really good league. That was another situation where I ended up in a spot where I kind of got less playing time than I would have anticipated going into it. Um, I kind of just didn't know the situation exactly before I got there, and got there, and my goalie partner there was lights out. He had actually backed up the year before. He was a rookie, backing up for a guy that won SPHL goalie of the year. So he got goalie of the year in the whole thing, uh, and then my goalie partner there, not the year that I was there, but one of the years after, he ended up winning CJHL goalie of the year as well. So he like a really good goalie.
Yeah.
I went in kind of thinking that I was going to be getting a lot of playing time, and the guy showed up and he was on like a 10-game win streak or something. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So I'm gonna have to kind of like, I'm not just coming in and getting games
Yeah.
handed to me. So you know, that was a different learning experience for me, I think, with with learning that, just kind of how to handle a situation like that. As well as it was a different vibe than the year before, being on a crappy team where I was getting
Yeah.
lots of chance to play. I think it takes a little bit of getting used to be on a team where there's expectations to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first time trying to figure that out, and it definitely had its ups and downs. There was a lot of learning that year. Again, that wasn't my best year. I didn't feel, my numbers were fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like, I didn't think I handled things necessarily the best, in certain aspects. And like I was mentioning about my sports psychologist, was that after that season, I kind of decided it was, I got to go big here on the mental game, and kind of go in with a plan. And I think a lot of that was just the way this season in Okotoks went. Just had a lot to learn from it, and kind of, didn't know the direction to go. So ended up, starting to work with a sports psychologist, and then got a trade in the off season to Powell River in the BCHL, and that was one of my favorite places I've ever played. Just one of the best experiences I've had in my years playing hockey. Super unique location. Probably outside of hockey, like, I mean, people that are like from BC haven't even like heard of it a lot of the time. It's pretty remote. Literally, like, if you go to Vancouver, just like, the main city in BC,
Yeah.
it's like it's like 4 hours north of Vancouver, right on the coast, but you can't get there. Like, there's no roads connecting from the
You had to
mainland.
go on a boat.
So you either have to take two different ferries to get there. You have to take a ferry to a peninsula, drive up the peninsula for a couple hours, and take another ferry to get there.
Wow.
Or you have to take a little, like, 10 to 20 seat plane to get there, like just a little tiny little puddle jumper. And so it was very remote. It was like a
Yeah.
town of 10,000, and it was kind of cool because you're the only ticket in town, right? There's not too much going on. So um, that was cool to get to play there. Tons of fan support, um, tons of support from the organization. Just treated really well, and like kind of how I talked about with Newfoundland being a cool like
Yeah,
destination spot to go. Like BC, like you're living in BC, you got the mountains on one side, you got the ocean on the other side.
that's sick.
Like my billet house there was like a 30-second walk down to the ocean. Um, you know, um, just a really really cool experience there. Had great teammates. Um, yeah, it's that year was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of on ice success, which again I would probably attribute a lot of that to having that sports psychologist and
Yeah,
just kind of helping build consistency in my game. And obviously I had a really good team in front of me as well, which as a goalie, I'm not naive enough
can't complain.
yeah, exactly. I'm not ignorant enough to say that all of a goalie's successes are based on just what they do.
Yeah,
Your team plays a huge role in that, no matter where you are. So um, having a great team in front of you is that obviously that helps set me up for success that season.
yeah, that's sick, and like such a good experience, especially going into your first year of college. Like that's just unreal to be a part of that and have that success, and then be able to transfer to NCAA D1 or commit to NCAA D1 and go on the ride that you did there at Niagara.
Absolutely, yeah. It did set me up well because I felt like that year, the first year that I kind of felt comfortable with, like the expectation to win, like I was talking about the year before,
Yeah,
was a lot of learning, and then that year it felt like you know I was more comfortable with those expectations of like you like you're expected to win games, you're
yeah,
expected to perform,
yeah,
and it didn't always. Like I got off to a pretty bad start there, and like in that sense, where I think it took me like a month to get my first win. So like it was a little bit rocky and that, but I think just having that mental game locked down, I was kind of able to just shut it out, and um, the results were what they were, but it was just focus on stopping the puck, right? So
yeah. That's all you got to do. Stop the puck.
the results came, and by the end of the year, like it was I had gotten pretty used to expecting to win, and I think that kind of getting used to that in that culture, in that atmosphere, I think really helped me moving forward.
Yeah, that's huge, and that's great to be a part of as well. Yeah, so to wrap this episode up, like a lot of fans wrote questions for you on Instagram, so let's go ahead and answer these questions.
All right.
So the first question is explain static by Hack Judgment.
Explain static. Yeah, static is that's a word we use at pro goaltending there. Just to explain getting your feet set, getting your feet still on pucks, and not having movement through the shot. That's from one of my buddies there. That's that I used to train with at that camp, and he's a rock star now. He's in a band called Judgment. If anybody's
There you go.
into a little bit of metal, then check him out.
There you go. Yeah, we'll drop the link and everything below.
Might as well click it.
Perfect. There you go. Click the link. There you go. Great explanation of static. Next one is best fan interaction.
Best fan interaction. That's I mean that's going to be like an impossible one to narrow down. I've had so many good fan interactions over the years in different spots. I am going to give this one to uh, my buddy Kai. I say my buddy. I've kind of gotten to know him a little bit. We don't talk much, but here and there, like we're connected on Instagram and Snapchat, and that he was a fan back in Powell River, my 20-year-old year there, and yeah, he ended up, his parents got him one of my jerseys for Christmas,
Nice.
and I had signed it before. I didn't really know what it was for, but I had signed up the jersey and found out that he got it for Christmas, and found out he was a big fan of mine. So that was pretty cool, and I got to see the video. You know, his parents took a video of him opening it up for Christmas,
That's
and
sick.
it was like a kid on Christmas morning, like, you know, exactly what you think. He was like so excited, such a like genuine reaction, opening up this jersey that's, you know, got my name on it or whatever. You know, it was kind of my first experience like that, where it's like, you know, wow, like
Yeah.
it's cool. Like, you know, you got people like actually looking up to you, and you know, it's kind of my first experience with something like that. So that was really cool, and he actually he used the jersey and a little bit of face paint for a beard, and ended up dressing as me for Halloween the next year. So that just adds on to
That's
it.
sick.
Really, really cool. Yeah, having that fan interaction.
It's always those fan interactions that are just like that. And like that's what we play hockey for. And just to be able to give back like that, like that's unreal.
Yeah, yeah, very cool.
Yeah. But this next one, I'm gonna let you guess who it is. But he said, "Who is the rebound king in Danbury?"
Uh, yeah, I have no idea who might have sent that. Probably
Frankie.
wasn't Frankie. Probably wasn't Frankie, I wouldn't think. But yeah, I don't know. He certainly played more rebound there than I did. I enjoy the odd game of rebound, remember, but he was
Yeah.
on it every day.
So
So
there's a skewed record there then.
well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, no, I'll give him the title. You know, I know the guys would get pretty excited whenever they beat him, though. So, you know, I don't know. They might have a couple skaters that would say they're the play or they're the rebound kings, but I think it goes to Frankie.
There you go. And then he also asked, "What was it like playing against your goalie partner in his first SPHL game?"
That was true. That did happen this year. Yeah, I got to play against Frankie when he was called up to Fayetteville this year. That was cool. He played he played a really good game. I was really happy for it. He came in relief in a tough spot, and it was in Huntsville. It was it's a hard building to play in,
Yeah.
and he came in and
Yeah.
did a really good job, and gave them a really good chance to win the game. So yeah, I was happy for him. That was pretty cool to be on the other end of that.
Yeah.
You know, I know he's grinded for a long time in his career, and he puts in
Yeah.
a lot of work in his craft, and a lot of work just being a better goalie every day. So it was cool to see him get that opportunity and being down across from him, you know, as it was happening. Any other situation, I would have been rooting for him to win. Obviously, that one, I'm like, all right, well, I hope he plays well, and we still get the win. But like,
Yeah.
you know, and that is pretty much what happened. We found a way to win, but he played really well, so that was cool.
Yeah. Last question is who is your favorite NHL goalie and why?
Favorite NHL goalie, I would say Uh, he's not playing anymore. And this is probably everybody's answer. You probably know where I'm going with this. Carey Price.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just like just the smoothness. You know, he's such a technical guy.
Yeah.
And like it was just his technique was so clean, so on point
Yeah.
all the time. But he
Elite level.
and so calm, like you know, you see like there's some videos I used to watch on YouTube when I was younger. I want to say it was like Ben's fan something something 0208
Yeah.
or something.
I think I remember those. Yeah.
And he'd have all the ISO videos of like
Yeah.
different goalies when they came and played in Ottawa. And you watch all these guys that are like elite level goalies, like you got Lundqvist up there, you got Bobrovsky up there, you get like Quick, you name it, all these
Yeah.
guys that were, lights out at the time these videos were getting posted. And the difference between like the how they play was crazy. The way that he
Yeah.
could like slow down the game and be so calm, it was like completely different. I was like, I don't know how he puts up the same numbers, if not better than those, like
Oh
these
yeah.
other guys. But you watch and like
It's
all the other
crazy.
guys, you're watching, their feet are moving so fast, and it's really good. And then him, it's like everything's moving so slow, but every single time it does like it's not like he's slow getting to places. It's just like
Yeah.
his um he
It's
was just ahead
precise.
of plays, knew where he needed to be. He was very precise with the movements. And when he did get in situations where he had to scramble a bit, he was really good at that too.
Yeah.
So he kind of had that really good mix of
Yeah.
smooth, buttery technique and still a really good battle
Yeah.
ability.
Oh yeah.
And his you look at his career too, and he had it wasn't all sunshine and roses for him. There was a point where it was looking like he might get traded out of Montreal, and
Yeah.
I think it was cool to um, see something like that where even the best guys in the world, like there's points, like
Yeah.
it's not smooth sailing all the time. You got to learn to deal with some adversity, and
Yeah.
I think it's cool to see even the best in the world go through that, right? So
Yeah. Everyone goes through those, and you just got to come out on top, and just don't let it affect you, and just keep keep going, and because it will get better.
exactly, yeah, just work through it.
Yeah. Exactly. But Brian, it's a great spot to wrap this up. But thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I want to wish you the best of luck going forward with next season, and hopefully you go on another championship run somewhere soon.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks. Appreciate having me on, Jack, and yeah, hopefully we'll do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.